And we always believed that nobody was older than the Pope. Even God wasn't older than the Pope. But I am, and I do want to say that I think that young guy is doing a pretty good job with his hoping. I'm impressed. Those of you who haven't seen me for a while may have noticed that I've got a new device in my repertoire. Because of childhood polio, my legs just keep getting weaker. And so I've decided to have a chair as a standby. It's a nice battery-operated little thing that I'll eventually learn to drive and put running over the furniture. But for now, I'm glad to have it. You remember, those of you, when you graduated from high school, which some of you, I think, probably did. In my day, when you graduated from high school, you got a yearbook. And in the yearbook, it gave a prediction of what each student would be doing in future years. My high school yearbook from 1953 stated that I was the graduate most likely to eventually wind up in the electric chair. And here I am. That may be the only one of the predictions in that entire book that came true. There are people here today who represent every phase of my life. I've got siblings here who knew me when I was a little kid, all the way up to my time managing homeowners associations and living at Pacific Bluffs. The only part of my career that there is nobody here representing was a sort of brief, kind of unimpressive time in the military. I had two friends who served with me in the Marine Corps, including one who grew up with me next door and then eventually lived next door to me again. But they've all passed away in recent years. So I'm the only one left. But other than that, most of my career has been represented by the people who showed up today. There are some people here that I want to thank before I get going. First and foremost, I want to thank Bev and Al. Many of you already know this, but Bev and Al take such good care of me, and I'm really pleased to have them in my life. There are four other people that make my every day a delight, and they are Katie and Rick, and Christy and Kyle. They're the reason I smile all the time. And now we have little Madeline to add to that. There's one other person here today that I want to especially thank, and that is a young man that I first met 13 years ago. He's been a great part of my life ever since. I used to call him my little buddy, but now that he's bigger than I am, I guess we can't call you the little buddy anymore. Luke Jones, thank you for everything. I love you, Luke. My son Mike is here with his wife Sylvia and a beautiful great-granddaughter Sadie. Did you wave to the people, Sadie? It's great to have you here. Mike and Sylvia live in Texas, so I don't see them very much. And they have busy lives, and it's hard for them to get to San Diego. And with my leg problems, my days of climbing on and off airplanes is probably over. There's one other problem. Since they live in Texas, I'm a lifelong liberal Democrat. I don't think think I'm even allowed in Texas. Maybe I need a visa or something. But anyway, Mike and Sylvia, thank you for coming today. It's a pleasure to have you here. I grew up in a small town in Iowa, the second oldest of 8 kids. People sometimes ask me why my parents had so many children, and I can only tell you in 2 words: Irish Catholic. They just kept coming. It's hard to believe, but I have an older brother, even though I'm 90 years old. He's 93 and he lives in Seattle, and he can't be here today just because it's too hard for him to travel. But he and I have been very close through our entire adult lives. We weren't actually that close as kids. He's 3 years older than I am, and so we sort of moved in different circles. Gene was very, in my eyes at least, sophisticated and grown up, and he found me kind of a nuisance and an embarrassment most of the time. I was very close, though, to 2 of my younger brothers, Dave, who is a year and a half younger than me, and Mike, who's a year and a half younger than Dave. Neither Dave nor Mike can be here today. Dave lives in Spain, and the trip is just too much. He's now 88 years old, and he just didn't feel he could make it. Mike unfortunately passed away a few years ago, but his son is here today. Dave is there. He's here with his wife Sally, his daughter Emily, and their great grandson Beth. So welcome, guys. Dave and Mike and I kind of glumped through childhood together, running around this little town committing various misdemeanors and maybe a few felonies, I'm not sure. We never were in any real trouble, but we did keep the nuns' ruler pretty well in action. I wish they could be here today. Jean's daughter Mary is here, along with her 3 children and 1 grandchild. I welcome you all, Mary and Maggie and Drew and Andrew and James, wherever he is out there. My 3 youngest siblings are here today, or pardon me, 2 of my 3 youngest siblings are here today. Bob couldn't be here, but Ann and Duffy are both here. Traveled a great distance to be here. I wasn't actually that close to them as a kid because I was so much older than they were. But I was more like, I guess, a babysitter and maybe even a father figure for all I know. But we grew very close after we all became adults. It's a real pleasure to have you guys here today. Anna also brought with her a very important person in my life, Shirley Purcell. Shirley and I have been unofficially engaged for, what is it, Shirley, about 15 years now? Yeah, maybe someday we should do something about that. We'll give it some thought. When I was 18 years old, the government was kind enough to send me to San Diego. I joined the Marine Corps, I came out here to boot camp, and I took one look at San Diego, and I never wanted to see Iowa again. Fortunately for me, while I was in the Marine Corps, my parents moved with the rest of the family to Cleveland, Ohio. So except for a few visits, I never did see Iowa again. During my Marine Corps days, my service took me in and out of San Francisco a lot, and it was there that I met Jean. Jean and I fell in love, got married just before I got out of the Marine Corps. We wanted to stay in California till we found out what the tuition was for out-of-state students to go to college. So by moving back to Ohio, I was able to get in-state tuition, and we went down to Kent State University. The tuition at Kent State University in 1957 was $33 a quarter. So those of you who are still paying off your student loans, eat your heart out. After we graduated from college, Jean and I were trying to manipulate our way back to California, and I had to go to Chicago for a year. So we spent a year in Chicago taking care of that assignment, and then we moved